bearing in mind, we mentioned tonight how the importance of rotational grazing, how cattle can be a huge mitigation tool, mixed farming is the benefit, and yet the press tells us that cattle are the worst things in the world for anything to do with carbon. How can we explain this to the consumer in a better way?
This has been quite a joyous process over the last 4 years, because we'll go and talk to a cluster group or a discussion group, and the farmers, we talk about the press. The farmers have also been browbeaten by this whole process, and when you explain that the joy of this is, it's such a it's a triple win. You can farm in a way where you reduce your inputs, you reduce your carbon footprint, and you produce a high quality food stuff, and possibly a higher quality food stuff, by taking this process. But I suppose the indication is we a couple of times we've been asked to Eden, a big tourist place in Cornwall, to talk about agriculture, and we've usually been asked on World Environment Day, and you get a 20-minute slot, and once you start explaining to people how soil and environment and animals and good agriculture can integrate. We've often been talking for 45 minutes and taking questions because people really engage with it. They like to know the authenticity of their food. They like to understand that what they're doing can be beneficial. And this new understanding with herbal lays, with reduced inputs, with rotational grazing, with bicropping, the potential to save fungicides and nitrogen, they're all wins. You generally produce less stressed crops of high nutrient density, etc. So the public really engage with this. So it's changing the narrative, and the data that we're getting is really helping that. But it's people picking up their kids from school or when they go to friends for dinner, is starting these debates with people and explaining how important that good agriculture, good intelligent agriculture can be. And it's so important that we in the West, and I don't mean this pejoratively, where we've sort of cocked up our ecosystems, can re-engage, can bring the bird life back through these cropping systems, can reduce our inputs, and produce high quality food, because it's so important we don't stop producing food in this country to just export our carbon issues to Africa or something like that. We've really got to keep productive agriculture part of what we do, but do it in a way that can be beneficial to the environment.
No, I think if you look at the map that Tom put up in his presentation about where the carbon-rich soils of our country are, they correlate almost completely with where the livestock is in our country. And those livestock farmers are managing on behalf of the nation a huge amount, there we are, a huge amount of benefit for the whole of society by storing that carbon, managing that carbon. And the animals that graze those acres of land where that carbon exists are only recycling carbon. They're not taking new carbon out of the system. The grass is sequestrating carbon. They will consume that carbon. The carbon then gets released, but then it gets fed back into the system again. So there has been, very sadly, a narrative that beef is bad, dairy is bad, sheep are bad, but actually, in the round, managed well, in the sort of way we do it within the UK, they're good for food security, good for the environment, and good for climate change. And we need to continue just to make sure that we say those things loudly and very clearly.